Mhm. 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 Oh, I gotcha. Understood. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's understandable. Yeah.
And welcome back to Geek Out and Say It's Friday and we're having fun. And we're here with Sophia.
I don't know if we're here yet. I'm looking to check if we're here, so ignore the girl looking down at her camera and talk to Sophia and Vince for a minute.
Hey guys. Yes. Hi guys. How you doing?
Pretty good. Welcome to the show. How have you been?
I'm good. I mean, I'm playing every day. I'm practicing, and just the usual thing, feeling the good vibration of music.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what I've been doing lately. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're there. Okay. Yeah, I think we're live.
Okay, we're live. Yes. My bad. That was loud. Okay. We're okay.
Understood.
Yeah. See, now you're doing it.
I think we're a little.
Everybody needs to stop.
I think we're a little loud.
And we're a little loud, and we're gonna try to fix that real quick.
So this is the first time we're doing a Skype interview while we're streaming. So thanks for putting up with us and getting it. But this is the first time we're doing it. But I guess it's working now. So that works.
Well, yeah, because I can see Sophia. I mean, I can see.
Yeah, McKenna says Vince, your mic is really hot.
Yeah, it's.
Well, thank you, McKenna.
Ooh, hot mic.
The mic.
No, it means you're loud, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Just talk softly.
Yes.
Just talk quietly.
Oh, he's just going to adjust.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
He's just going to adjust me. So, Sophia, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, first of all, I do a multitude of things. As you obviously know, on my Facebook page, I write poetry. I post music. I just living day to day through music and poetry, and that's one of the things that I enjoy doing. I just want to bring a little something to everybody's day to just for more passion. That's what matters, It's like if you add a little bit of passion in everybody's day, your day is not wasted. And me, first and foremost, I'm a musician, and I've been playing classical piano for years and years. And I have, as a matter of fact, I have my degree from the University of Texas at San Antonio. Go Roadrunners! And it's in music theory and composition. But with that, I also got piano principles, which means that the majority of my education in theory and composition evolves around the piano.
Okay.
But I also like to orchestrate. I like to write small ensembles and also arrange, for symphony orchestra type stuff. So it really opened the door for this new thing that came my way, which is, of course, the cover of Nothing Else Matters. That just came out of nowhere. It was basically.
Were you just doing it for fun, like with a friend, and they started to tape you, or what happened?
Well, I wanted to video myself, and I used my iPad, and what I did was I wanted to take a song that was significant to me, because that song does have a huge significance to me, because when my father, before my father passed away, my father was in a coma back in 2014. And what happened is we fought with the doctors to keep my father from having the plug pulled on him, and we did not give up on him. We fought for his life, and then after my father woke up from his coma, when he came home was, for me, I got him a laptop, and I took him to YouTube, and I started introducing to him various different things to help him get both the languages back and his skills back and everything. And one of the first songs I introduced him to was Metallica's Nothing Else Matters. So that's why it has such a very, very deep meaning to me. And we had my father for another 2 years before he left us in 2016, but that song holds a massive significance to me. And so I thought to myself, why don't I just make a cover of it and just have it and just play it for myself? And I've done that for quite a while. And then I thought to myself, you know what? Why don't I just go with it? You know, I've made other covers. I did "Stained So Far Away," and I also did and I've also done "Mama, I'm Coming Home" by Ozzy. And what I've noticed is that a pattern is that every time I do a cover of a metal song on the keys, people tend to like it.
Well, it's amazingly beautiful, and I think especially when those songs speak to you. There's something that speaks to you even more when it's very simple and beautiful in the piano, and it just kind of ekes into your soul. So for me, when I heard you playing that, and I didn't know about the Stain song, so have you done a YouTube video of that too? Because I'm going to have to go listen to that.
The thing is, I have not put these on YouTube. I put them on Facebook because I know how to configure the codes to get them on YouTube to monetize for both them and myself. But I prefer more them to get their royalties. I mean, I'm just doing it because I just love their music.
Right.
And my repertoire is that metal has become an expanded collection. I have a and one thing I've noticed is that classical music is a big one because that's basically what I studied in college, and also a little bit more contemporary stuff in the early 20th century. But what I've noticed is that even some of my friends have gotten me CDs of symphonic metal and stuff by Within Temptation, and Metalhead started so slowly making its way into my music collection as well. What most people call
she's just freezing
comparison.
Sorry, Sophia, you're freezing.
An awesome comparison. And, yes. Okay. Yeah. There's an awesome comparison.
Okay.
And the comparison here is that both genres are very nimble. There's a lot of technicality in both of them, and there's a distinct musical sense between them, because it's the music is really about survival. Even all the way to the medieval period, up to up to like close to the early 1900s, the music is absolutely amazing on how much it's changed. But what remains the same is the technicality, and the same thing goes with metal. And I noticed that, and I said, I really like this crossover because the foundation in both of them is there, and that's what I grew to love about it. The intricacy, the musical direction, the harmonic rhythms, all of that, and it just seemed to flow really well. So that transition came through for me. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing when you're transitioning these songs, these heavy metal songs on the piano,
right,
is this something that you read sheet music off of, or is this something that you kind of compose it on the piano yourself?
Well, what I do, the melodies, and I do is I try to come up with an orchestration in my mind about how to put the song together. It is a process. It is a very distinct process on how you put it together. And what I like to do is I like to combine the orchestration of the song as well as the lyrics to make sure that people and that I want to create, but it's fusing the lyricism with the orchestration in the song to make it work. And so far it's worked for me, and I liked how it comes together very much so. And
I think one of the things that it reminded me of, and I don't know if you've gotten to do this, Sophia, but maybe some people here in San Antonio have. The San Antonio Symphony has times throughout the year where they will play a movie. They're at the symphony, and they're all beneath the screen, and they're playing for you. And so that soundtrack from the movie is coming out to you, but with those instruments, and it's more of I don't know, you feel it more. I don't know how else to explain it except you feel it more. You feel the action more. You feel the scenes between people more because you're feeling that music there.
Exactly. Well, the whole purpose is to make it more interactive for the audience, because if it's just on a screen, it feels flat. But see, in film composing, because this is what I originally wanted to do, was to write music for films. Originally, what the music does is it adds a whole other dimension to the film, and it basically tells the story. There are films out there such as Jane Campion's 1993's The Piano, where basically the entire soundtrack is a piano solo. And who composed that? Let me think. Michael Nyman. He was the guy who composed it. And what he did a wonderful job was of creating a voice of one of the main character, played by Holly Hunter. I just don't remember her name. I think her name was Ada. And she since she cannot speak, the piano is used as her voice, and what that does is it adds a whole other dimension. Now, what you're talking about is with the orchestra playing the film over the screen. What that's doing is that's adding more interaction with the audience, and that's why you feel it more, because it's live. There's a difference of it being live and it being on screen. Music does a multitude of things. Music has a way of telling the story. And it depends on the composer on how they come up with it. And music also has the ability to, in a way, get inside a character's mind to bring something out that isn't always spoken in a film. It has in the characters. When I sit down and when I come up with a strategy to put together a piece of music, whether it be metal or anything, what I'm looking for is to bring out something specific, like even a special character in the song. Like, for example, in this one that was just made, what I was looking for is I wanted to create an orchestration with the keys in this version. There's it's been done plenty of times. But what I was looking for is giving a live feeling when I played it, because I wanted to say this song holds special meaning to me for a very specific reason, and I guess it came out that way. And it does, over 20,000 views later, here we are. And it's what I loved about this also is that a lot of us, Metallica has a way to reach our consciousness. Music that can touch us and terrify us at the same time, and that's what drew me in. And I love the feeling that they have in their sound, and this has blown me away completely. I'm like, wow.
That parallels back to your poetry, in that you have those feelings and those thoughts in poetry, and then that kind of parallels, especially in Metallica's music, but in some of the other metal, it's that lyrical, that poetic. Do you think you make that connection because of that?
I do. Yes, I do, because there are some parts in my poetry that are somewhat bone chilling, and I like that, because it means that I reach some part of my reader that they've never touched on before. I like the idea. I've read a lot of classics, and I've read a lot of poetry in my time, a lot of it, and there are different emotions, and there's different things going on in it. And so what I try to go for in my poetry is I try to reach some. I like to reach my. I haven't done that yet, but a lot of people seem to read it. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes.
So what are some
and that's what I do best.
So what are some of your plans of what you plan to do with doing some of these songs and switching them over to piano? What are your plans to move forward with that?
What I'd like to do is I'd like to compile some recordings. I'd like to do more with music. And another thing is, it's not just my own music or just original music, but I'd like to do collaborations with various different people if they would allow it, so to speak. Yes. Some of the more well-known bands. I mean, I've on my podcast, which I do have a podcast. You can find it on blogtalkradio.com/Gypsy Poet. It's called Gypsy Poet Radio. You're going to find that I have a wide array of people who have done something with the entertainment industry or within the entertainment industry. Some of the people that I featured are Dirk Verman, which you're probably familiar with, Bad Ink on A&E. Another one is, of course, Megadeth's David Ellefson. So I think I'm probably going to go this route because it's not mainstream and it's a little bit more out there, and I like the idea of that kind of expansion. And when I started GPR, it was basically to march to the beat of my own drum.
Right.
and explore different people and do different things. And when this and also with this video, what I wanted to do was, of course, it's not just about expressing myself, but also expressing a love for a kind of music that really reaches people. The heavy metal audience is the best audience in the world. I will tell you that right now. I have never seen such a following, and I've never seen so many awesome artists and that play such amazing music, and they're very, very into what they do. And it's a very passionate music and very pleasant, and the people in it are all heart. I've noticed that. And I said to myself, you know what, this is the kind of environment I would like to be in. And the melodies that they come up with, and what I'm listening to from unsigned artists to even indie artists, and I'm noticing podcasts all over the internet, people gravitating to that. I mean, the following is astounding, really.
And are you writing some of your own original music also as well? Or?
Yes. I write. I do a lot of my original. I do original music as well. I did release a single 2 years ago, but that was before I discovered the whole heavy metal scene, the whole genre. Okay, there's a lot of wonderful music there, and I would like to go that route. But the song that I composed a couple of years ago was a country song, but you can hear the influence and the intricacies of metal in it. Surprisingly, when I look back at it and when I listen back at it, it's really an amazing experience to see that. So, but now it's about, okay, I love what I'm seeing, I love what I'm hearing, and I love what I'm doing. This is a really big deal. This is amazing, and I want to see more of that.
And when I heard you playing the piano with that song, you could just feel the energy going into it that you don't necessarily feel in other like songs where somebody's playing piano. You do in some cases, but it just, for some reason, there just seemed to be more energy.
Yes.
And that was really interesting to me when I saw that, because it really like lifted you up and like really moved you when you heard that, because like, yeah, I've heard that song as a heavy metal song, but now I'm listening to it on piano, and it's like, it's so amazing.
Well, right, and I think those of us that don't play piano don't even conceive of it that way. So then when you bring something new to us, that we get to conceive of it that way, and so we get to see it in a new light and see it in a new way, I think that's amazing. So,
the idea of putting together a song of such a heavy genre and putting it to piano, it did something to me. It first of all, the vibration of the instrument and how it reacted to me was very different. I paid very close attention to the way that the piano reacted even to me when I played the song. Not a lot of people can say that, because some people think the piano is just a dead instrument. It isn't. It's very much alive because the player themselves bring it to life. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing I wanted to point out in the video as well. Mm-hmm. It's like you have to be able to make the instrument work for you. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing I wanted to show. Like the music is very much alive, and the way that it hits your body, the way it affects your soul, the way it gets in your blood, that in itself is an amazing experience to be able to do that.
I think it's really interesting that often music that comes from specific people is almost like a fingerprint, right?
Yes.
It's unique. I love Danny Elfman from Oingo Boingo, and every time he has a piece that's like in film or something, Nightmare Before Christmas is of course one, and he does a lot of stuff with Tim Burton. Mm-hmm. He has like a fingerprint, and Metallica has a fingerprint. Like that it's their music. There are certain things that Queen has a fingerprint, right?
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So it's interesting to hear that when you play it on the piano, it's you, and it's like your voice, but it's also their fingerprint. So it's this interesting melding of that.
Yes.
So I think your fingerprint is in there. Yes. I think we hear it. I'd be interested to hear what your fingerprint is like, just you, composing stuff, and maybe some of that goth, that poetry that you talk about. Coming out into some music. So where can we look and see some of the other stuff that you've done? Because I've seen the Facebook video of the Metallica, but where can we see some of the other stuff?
Most of it you can see on Facebook. I do have some things on YouTube. I have on my YouTube at Gypsy Poet Radio, and I also have my name, just Sophia Digonis. You can find me on YouTube as well there. And I've done a couple. I've done covers, and you'll probably find them. But I let's see. Yeah, I have a couple of covers on YouTube, so you can find them there. I've also done Elton John. I love Elton John. I think he's amazing. He's got some amazing music out there.
Are you curious to see the new film?
I kind of am, actually.
I kind of am. They did such a good job with Queen, right?
Yes.
So I'm hoping they do a good job with Elton. It looks good. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
It does look really good. I like what I've done so far. And the thing about pianists is they're very self-critical. They are very much so, and I see some improvements I could make if I ever perform Nothing Else Matters Ever Again. I think I would make some adjustments, improvements here and there. But as is at the moment, it was just a wonderful musical moment that I just threw out there, and I certainly hope that the band does appreciate it, and I got a good feeling that they would. And among other things that I really like doing is I like creating imagery with music, painting a picture with music, and just evoking that emotion with sound and color. And I want to do more of that. And every time I get interviewed, because I was interviewed earlier this week for the same thing, I'm thinking, wow, I think this just might be my way to go, because I'm seeing such an opening of doors with what I've accomplished here. Mm-hmm. So it looks like it I wouldn't say just heavy metal covers, but even heavy metal itself as a genre could be an opening for me, despite being a pianist.
Well, I think that's something interesting that I would definitely watch. My dad was an art teacher when I was growing up, so he used to play music for us in the summer, and we would draw, and we would have to imagine and come up with. And I'm not much of an artist, so sometimes I would write stories instead because I like to write.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be interesting to see you do something like that if you ever like met an artist that you liked, or like you're playing and then they're imagining what's happening as you play. I would love to see that connection. I always loved that growing up, because that was something that my dad did with me. Mm-hmm. And I do that with my students sometimes now, and most of them have never experienced something like that, because I think we know that it happens with music, but I don't think we think about it, right?
Right. Yes. I agree with you.
So I think that would be really something I would watch that.
Or even do some type of like music video along with that. That would, the imagery, because I remember when I was listening to it again, because I keep going back to it because I can just hear, I can hear it in my head.
Yes.
And I just kind of like saw. Do you remember Fantasia when he's like when Mickey's like waving the wand around? I had that picture in my head to your music,
right?
And it just felt like he was kind of painting with his wand the music that was happening there, and that's kind of the parallel that I took with it, and because it's the geek in me.
Yeah, we all have that, and like I said, this video has been life-changing for me. I said, out of all the things that I've done, that I've put out there for people to love and enjoy, this one was just the door that just opened for me. And I'm very happy to see that people are enjoying what I do, and that their emotions are evoked in some way, and people are talking about what I'm doing. And it's a really wonderful feeling in knowing that people are watching and sharing and even talking about it with their friends. It's like, hey, wow, look at this chick. She plays Metallica on the piano. Who knew? Kind of thing. So it's a wonderful feeling to see that. And it's I would want to see more of that coming out of myself. So this is a joy for me. This really is. Yeah. You can also grab me on the Insta. You can find me on Instagram. It's everything is Gypsy Poet Radio, GypsyPoetradio. So yes, you can find me there. I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook and YouTube. So you can find me pretty much everywhere. And tell
us again about your podcast real quick. Where can we find your podcast?
You can find my podcast on blogtalkradio.com/gypsypoet, and you can find all my features there. I've had also some collaborators there with some wonderful and some wonderful people that have been featured on my show. So this makes me a very happy camper.
Do you do that on a regular basis, or just whenever you can?
I used to do it on a regular basis, but right now I'm because I'm focused on this and what's in front of me right now. I will do it more on a regular basis at a later time, but at this point, I have this project that I'm working on, this baby of creating music and poetry that people seem to really gravitate to. So I'm all for it. And this, like I said, this video has opened doors for me. So I'm very grateful.
Do you have any suggestions for anyone that plans to go into the music industry?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. When it comes down to the music industry, find your niche. Find music that you would love doing for the rest of your life. Find yourself as you go along. Keep trying, keep working, keep evolving. Do not give up. Never give up, because it's when you give up where you end your dream. But when you just keep going and you just keep evolving, it doesn't matter if you get 1 cent or $1 or more than that. What matters is that the more that you keep going, the more you discover about yourself, and that's just as valuable as any dollar you get in your pocket. Yes.
Is there something through all of this that you've discovered within yourself that you didn't know before?
How much music is in my soul. I've been playing for years, and I loved what I do, and I love what I did, but now the love has expanded even more than ever before. it's awakened.
Well, so I teach middle school students. Did you start playing music back as early as like middle school, or when did you start playing?
I started playing way younger than that. I started when I was a toddler. Yes. I started when I was in diapers, and it just continued. And I didn't leave the instrument, but I was consistent with it. But there were times when the instrument was in my life more consistently than other times. But now it's made its presence and says, "I'm here to stay, damn it."
And is it only the piano that you play?
I play other instruments too. I can play mostly percussive Latino instruments, but the piano is the most prominent one, and I also do sing. But I like playing more. I like playing piano more. Very much so.
Yes, comes across.
Yes.
Yes.
And for somebody who want to become a pianist, what would be a great starter piano for them to start off on?
Oh, wow. That's a good question, because people start with anything. Just as long as it's got keys in front of you, even a small keyboard is a good idea to get familiar with the notes first. Yeah. Starting off with a small keyboard is a way to get the notes first, and then you just kind of go on from there, pretty much. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on learning how to, since you talked about the notes, what are your thoughts on learning how to read the music versus some people feel like they can just hear the music, they can play it, they kind of know what the sounds are and where they come from. So I've heard kind of two schools of thought on this. So what are your thoughts? Should you really learn how to read the music and play it, or?
Okay, coming from an old schooler like myself, I do think that learning the music is going to help you out, because this is what I tell my kids. When it comes down to teaching the instrument, the things I say there are two things I say. One, in order for you to understand music, you must have something beating already inside of you. What is it?
Your heart.
Exactly. That's number one. Number two, music is a puzzle that turns into a map that tells you where to go. Now let me explain that.
Okay.
Music is a puzzle, because what you're doing is you're putting the notes of the two hands together. And then once you figure it out, it turns into a map, and then it tells you where to go with it.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yes. And I recommend coming from the old school perspective that you should learn the music, because once you learn the music, then the system already seeps inside of you, and you're able to make it up on your own. You're able to know how to give your own direction, flow in your own direction after that.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I think that's sound advice, but I was just curious, because the only musical instrument I've ever played is the cymbals. And all I had to know to play the cymbals was count until the X was there, and then you crash the cymbals. Or I had to learn how to march backwards and hold the cymbals so that the drummers could drum on the cymbals while I marched backwards. That's the extent of my musical prowess. You were actually in band.
I was actually in band, and I had a little more experience of that with saxophone and French horn and trumpet and stuff like that. So I've been doing, and that's what got me to the point where I love music so much.
Right.
And he's definitely a metalhead.
Yeah, definitely.
Usually, once you seep yourself into the music, you become one.
Yeah.
Once you get into the music and you let it seep inside of you, you don't just become a metalhead. You become a pop head. You become a metalhead. You become a jazz head. You become everything. It's like it's an amazing experience once you really learn, and once you teach yourself how to feel the music. That's what matters.
Yeah, I got fussed at it by some people at a Stained and a Creed concert because I was really rocking out, and our son was 16 at the time, and he had saved his money and bought the tickets for him and I, and we were in the balcony, like, leaning over, and I'm like, I love you! And there's all these people behind us that were older, and they were mad that we were standing up, and I said, this is a rock concert! Y'all should be in love with this music. You should be standing up, like, loving this music, full on going out.
You paid to see it.
Yeah, my son worked really hard to buy these tickets for us. I'm rocking out.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I mean, other bands that I do enjoy listening to have been Fleetwood Mac, of course. Stevie Nicks. She's the ultimate rock goddess. I love Stevie Nicks, ultimate rock goddess there. And of course, who didn't grow up with Janet Jackson? She's also an amazing woman. I think she's had some amazing music. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Those guys are just incredible with some of the stuff they've come up with.
We have a soft spot for Sting and the Police and Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20. Yeah.
Great time. Music. Yes, they're great. They are absolutely amazing. Let me think. But I also have a soft spot for European musicians. Carla Bruni's one of them. She has some amazing songs. But another one that is very popular in Europe, and ironically, she's here from the U.S. Her name is Anastasia. Oh my God, that woman has a voice that could reach the heavens. Seriously, she's got pipes of crystal. Oh, really amazing.
Okay, well, check that out. Yeah,
absolutely.
Very cool.
Yes.
So again, can we get how people can see some of your stuff again?
Okay,
one more time.
One more time.
We want to make
you like to do it 3 times so people remember.
Okay.
Just like Shakespeare.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Oh, you can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Gypsy Poet Radio. I also have my page, Sophia the Gypsy Poet on Facebook. Instagram is Gypsy Poet Radio. SoundCloud Gypsy Poet Radio. Everything is pretty much labeled Gypsy Poet Radio. So you can find me on all social media platforms with that.
Gypsy Poet Radio.
Awesome. Yeah, Gypsy Poet Radio. Yeah, you can find me there. Yep, including YouTube. Yes.
Well, we have a lot of great viewers watching us right now.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. We got some subscribers too.
Oh, nice.
So that was kind of cool.
Well, thanks for talking music. We normally talk geeky stuff, but I think you can geek out over music as well.
I was geeking out over music right now, so that was that was really cool.
Yes, amazing. All right.
So, but what I'd like to do right now is we'd like to go live via satellite to talk to, and we're going to cover up our Geekin event calendar. So, Alicia, go ahead and take it away.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me back. I am so excited to talk to you about the geeky events going on in San Antonio this weekend. First off, we have the San Antonio Book Festival happening downtown at the Central Library and Southwest School of Art. There's going to be author signings, panels, discussions, a kids' corner, and Geek Town for teens for the young adult novels, which if you're an like me, you're going to make a beeline for that section. Also, I hear that John Picasso
I'd like to be on again.
Henry Thomas. John Picasso is a San Antonio artist and illustrator of several science fiction, fantasy, horror novel book covers, as well as a Hugo nominee this year. And he's going to be talking to Henry Thomas, the child actor from E.T., about his debut fantasy novel. So that sounds like something you don't want to miss. Also going on is MizumiCon, the anime convention at the Marriott Northwest. If you're an anime fan, you don't want to miss this. Cosplay, panels, contests, check it out. And at the Wonderland of the Americas Mall is Princess Fest.
You guys have really an amazing thing going on here. Wow. I never knew San Antonio did this.
And there's a lot of local vendors who sell their art and their crafts and their collectibles. So it's always a fun place to shop. Always free. And I also hear there's going to be villains there, so I'm super excited about that. Last but not least, if you are a member pass holder for the River Center Legoland Discovery Center, you get a preview this weekend of the grand opening. The grand opening for the rest of us is in 7 days. But if it's anything like IKEA, you might want to bide your time for a little while to avoid the crowds. I'm a huge Lego fan and I'm chomping at the bit to go, but got to hang back for a little while. Anyways, that's just a small smidgen of what's going on in San Antonio this weekend. If you want to see more events, check out my Facebook page, Geek Fun SA. And you can click on the events tab or scroll through the feed and find something that you might want to check out. Anyways, that's all I've got for now. Thank you so much and have a fabulous geekend.
Alicia, that was great.
Wow, so much stuff to do in San Antonio.
Check it out and check out her Geek Fun SA on Facebook. But Sophia, thanks for coming out to hang out with us.
Thank you.
Maybe sometime we can talk you into coming into the studio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Or to play for us, maybe live.
Yes.
That would be great.
Yes.
We'll definitely be sharing your video again because we love it and we'd like to get it up even over 23,000.
Yes,
Let's
definitely.
just hike it up there because it's spectacular.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Again, thanks for coming. And guys, thanks for watching us. We really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And click on that notification bell and you'll hear when we go live like we are right now. But I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen. That was Sophia. Stuart's over there producing.
Yes.
Geek out us. See y'all later.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.